Imagine being the second of 4 sons to a 3-time Super Bowl champion, 2 of those wins for your hometown team. The pressure to measure up would be almost unimaginable. Christian McCaffrey has had ups and downs in his 7-year NFL career, but is inching ever closer to matching the illustrious winning legacy of his father, Ed. Though he doesn't have a ring to show for it yet, Christian has already cemented himself as the league's best and most versatile running back when healthy. Join me as we look back on the rise of Christian McCaffrey, from struggling with injury and being shocked by a trade to San Francisco to winning one of the league's most prestigious individual awards, all wrapped up in the chase for the Niners' first Lombardi since 1995. This video is powered by BetUS, our sponsor all season long for Touchdown Kingdom. Don't miss out on their limited time offer of a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and a 125% bonus on the next 2. This is up to $2,000 and can be accessed with the code YouTube150. Born in the suburbs of Denver, Colorado, to Ed and Lisa McCaffrey, Christian won the athletic gene jackpot at birth. His father was a wide receiver who won 2 Super Bowls with the Broncos and 1 with the Niners after an illustrious career at Stanford, while his mother Lisa played soccer for the Cardinal and was the daughter of an Olympic silver medalist sprinter. Given his professional acumen, Ed McCaffrey ran a tight ship in his household, where the boys were laser focused on succeeding in their athletic ventures. Christian broke from tradition and elected to play running back because he wanted to see more of the ball than his father had. Ed was a wideout revered for his blocking. Regardless, all of the boys thrived in the highly competitive environment, with Christian attending national football camps in middle school where he was often underestimated and mistaken as the punter for his size and stature, something that would become a theme going forward. Christian was a 3-sport athlete at Fowler Christian High School, lettering in basketball, track, and of course, football. He won Gatorade Player of the Year for Colorado twice, and was deployed all over the field for the Eagles as he broke various state records despite being rested when the team was ahead in his final few seasons. As a 4-star recruit and the best ranked in Colorado's class of 2014, the All-American McCaffrey finished his high school career with state records for total touchdowns with 141, receiving touchdowns with 47, and all-purpose yards with 8,845. When it came time for Christian to choose where he would commit to play college ball, Ed's wisdom proved invaluable. Amid interest from Washington and the prospect of joining up with his older brother Max at Duke, his father steered him back towards his own alma mater. Christian appeared in every game of his freshman season at Stanford, largely as a third-down rotation and special teams option. He had 2 receiving touchdowns, one of which came from a 52-yard play in his debut, with almost 800 all-purpose yards and 7 total tackles in 2014. McCaffrey shot up the depth chart in his sophomore season, now RB1 and donning the number 5 in honor of his favorite college player, Reggie Bush. CMC exploded this season as the Cardinals' most important player, helping them bounce back from a disappointing Week 1 loss to Northwestern to go 10-1 in their remaining regular season games. McCaffrey led the team in rushing, receiving, and had a critical role in the return game as well, scoring a kick return touchdown against Cal while notching over 1,000 return yards en route to a Pac-12 title. It was a remarkable sophomore season for McCaffrey, setting a new college record for single-season all-purpose yards with 3,864, while also rushing for over 2,000. For his efforts, he won the Paul Hornung Award and was named a consensus All-American. However, he had to settle for second in Heisman voting to Bama's Derrick Henry, a loss that lit a fire in him, which torched the Iowa Buckeyes in the 2016 Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. McCaffrey opened the game by taking a pass over the middle 75 yards to the end zone, setting the tone for a monster performance. He then returned to punt 63 yards for a score in the second quarter and ran one of the most lauded defenses in college football that year ragged, setting a Rose Bowl record with 368 all-purpose yards. His junior season saw David Shaw dial back McCaffrey's usage in the return game, though he notched a career-best 13 rushing touchdowns on far fewer carries for over 1,600 yards. The 2016 Stanford team made no such epic bowl run, but still gave McCaffrey the platform to finish his collegiate career as the leader in FBS career all-purpose yards, declaring for the draft at season's end as one of the greatest to ever suit up in Cardinal and white. When it came time for draft evaluations, the tape spoke for itself. McCaffrey was truly a jack of all trades, offering huge upside in the pass and run game while also proving to be a solid returner. Scouts were worried about his size and burst translating to the next level, but solid showings at the Combine and Stanford's Pro Day saw him widely projected as a first-round pick. Carolina came in for him 8th overall in the 2017 NFL Draft, making Leonard Fournette the only running back selected ahead of McCaffrey. The Panthers were coming off of a 6-10 season, evidently a hangover from the crushing loss in Super Bowl 50. They got back to winning ways in 2017 though, with their rookie number 22, Christian McCaffrey, struggling to get going in the run game, instead excelling as a receiver with 5 touchdowns on 651 yards, even grabbing his first postseason score against the Saints in a wildcard loss. He saw most of the special team snaps of his NFL career during his rookie season, but it seemed clear that the Carolina staff were still trying to figure out how to best utilize the Swiss Army knife that had just fallen into their lap. Year 2 saw McCaffrey breeze past the 1,000 rushing yard mark, while improving his productivity as a receiver with 867 yards for 13 total touchdowns, setting a franchise record for single-season all-purpose yards in the process. New offensive coordinator Norv Turner maximized CMC's potential by increasing his usage, as he was on the field for 200 more offensive snaps than he had been as a rookie, given even more opportunities to test his instinctual running style and grow his confidence. Named second-team All-Pro, McCaffrey shone in a disappointing season for Carolina overall. The trend of McCaffrey improving as the Panthers deteriorated continued through 2019, as an early injury to Cam Newton meant even more responsibility on the third-year back's shoulders. CMC never looked uncomfortable though, in a historic effort where he became the 3rd player to ever log over 1,000 rushing and receiving yards in one season, with 1,387 and 1,005 respectively. Add to that a league-leading 19 touchdowns, and his inclusion in the Pro Bowl and as a first-team All-Pro came as no surprise. A 5-11 season for the Panthers was overshadowed by the dominance of McCaffrey, who finished 3rd in Offensive Player of the Year voting and was handsomely rewarded with a 4-year, $64 million contract extension in the 2019 offseason. Looking to rebuild with a new coaching staff led by Matt Rule in 2020, the now well-paid McCaffrey was set to go off in year 4. That was until a high ankle sprain in week 2 kept him out of action for 6 weeks. His return in week 9 against the Chiefs resulted in a loss, but more importantly, a season-ending shoulder injury to McCaffrey as well, as the Panthers went 5-11 in back-to-back seasons. Let's talk about some sports betting. My go-to for that is BetUS. Once you're in, you'll easily find all the pregame markets, parlays, and prop bets that you need. You'll even get 10% back on your net losses twice a year. So let's win some money. If I want to bet on some division winners, I just click on the football tab, scroll down to the NFL divisions tab, then find the bet I like. I'm going to go for Jaden Daniels Commanders to win the NFC East, so click on the number and specify your wager. $50 sounds good. Then click place my bets, click confirm, and there you go. Pretty easy, right? Enjoy a limited time offer of a 150% sign-up bonus on your first deposit and a 125% bonus on the next 2. This is up to $2,000 and can be accessed with the code YouTube150. He was still held in high esteem by his peers, finishing 44th in the NFL Top 100 with only 3 appearances on the year. Now, losing the new face of your franchise to injury the season after you sign him to a mega deal is unfortunate, but to have it happen 2 years in a row is downright cruel. Though he saw time in a total of 7 games over the course of the 2021 season, McCaffrey once again struggled to stay fit for a 5-win Carolina side, suffering from another hamstring injury and a grade 2 ankle sprain. He acknowledged that missing games through injury presented him with individual adversity that he hadn't faced before, getting frustrated at hearing people claim that he should retire and that he was never going to be the same again. Like any true competitor though, this made him even hungrier to prove his worth when he returned. When the 2022 offseason came around, the Panthers were reportedly ready to listen to trade offers for CMC, but assured the player himself that he would most likely be staying. His value had plummeted after 2 seasons with very limited availability, with many quick to label the back as injury-prone, failing to recognize the insane volume of touches he saw in his first 3 years as a Panther. His massive contract was another sticking point in trade negotiations given this perception. When the 2022 season began, McCaffrey was still in Charlotte and started the season better than the Panthers' 1-5 record showed. Most importantly though, he was staying healthy, aiming to get back to his best. After a Week 6 loss to the Rams under new coaching staff, CMC was informed by his agent that a trade was beginning to materialize. McCaffrey was ultimately sent to the San Francisco 49ers on Friday, October 21st for a 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round pick in 2023, along with the 5th round pick in 2024. The absence of a first rounder in there is mind-boggling considering his talent, but largely came down to those contract and injury concerns. Christian McCaffrey to the Niners seemed perfect for so many reasons. He was joining a unit coached by Kyle Shanahan, whose father Mike had coached Ed McCaffrey in San Francisco and Denver over a 9-year period, winning 3 Super Bowls together. The Niners were looking to make another deep playoff run at the time of this trade, while McCaffrey was hoping to reach the postseason for the first time since his rookie year. Behind one of the best offensive lines in the league, Christian McCaffrey blossomed in the latter half of the 2022 season, winning over the Niners faithful in his second game with 3 touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 receiving, and 1 passing, in a beatdown of the Rams. He finished with over 1,100 rushing yards and 700 receiving for 13 total touchdowns on the year, the best turnout since his All-Pro 2019 campaign. This showing earned him his second Pro Bowl nod, along with a second-place finish in Comeback Player of the Year voting to Geno Smith. In the playoffs that year, though, McCaffrey had the last laugh, with 136 all-purpose yards and a touchdown in a wildcard round dismantling of the Seahawks. The Niners took care of Dallas at home in the divisional round before an early injury to quarterback Brock Purdy resulted in a mauling at the hands of the Eagles in the NFC Championship game, which still had many doubting their pedigree. McCaffrey was responsible for their lone score on the day and was even forced to line up at quarterback as San Francisco's roster became so depleted by injury. They returned in 2023 with a vengeance, now fully healthy and with one of the league's most dynamic offensive weapons on their books. Everything had fallen into place perfectly, and the Niners steamrolled their way to the #1 seed in the NFC. This was largely powered by a career-best season for Christian McCaffrey, who proved that he hadn't peaked in his 3rd season, but was maturing into an even more efficient playmaker in a position that has become synonymous with short-lived success in recent years. The Niners' number 23 led the league with his 1,459 rushing yards, which combined with his efforts catching the ball produced over 2,000 yards from scrimmage and 21 total touchdowns, even though he was rested in the final game of the regular season. CMC once again showed up in the playoffs with over 100 yards of offense and 2 rushing touchdowns in the Niners' wins over the Packers and Lions, earning them a spot in the Super Bowl and a chance to match his father's legacy. Christian won the Offensive Player of the Year award by a significant margin, while finishing 3rd in MVP voting as well, a demonstration that he was worth far more than what San Francisco had given up for him, and proof that he could stay healthy and be part of a winning franchise. For his efforts, CMC also earned first-team All-Pro honors for the 2nd time and his 3rd Pro Bowl selection, but it would mean very little if San Francisco stumbled at the final hurdle yet again, which they did. Despite a solid night with 160 yards of total offense and 1 touchdown from their star running back, McCaffrey lost a fumble in the first half, which became a trend throughout the game for the Niners, resulting in an agonizing 25-22 overtime loss to the Chiefs. Regardless, Shanahan had found his man, with the Niners locking Christian McCaffrey down to a record-setting 2-year, $38 million extension. Though in an eerily familiar manner, he spent most of 2024 so far battling through injury, the Niners know they must protect their franchise running back at all costs going into the future and have shown no desire to take any risks with McCaffrey's health. Though he's still chasing his father's success on the biggest stage, it's fair to say that Christian has outgrown Ed's shadow on an individual level as he looks to make his case for being one of the finest backfield aces of his generation. His struggles with injury and lack of silverware will hurt his Hall of Fame bid, making a Super Bowl win even more important in expediting McCaffrey's quest for a bust in Canton. But what do you think? Is Christian McCaffrey already a Hall of Famer? How much longer is the Niners Super Bowl window going to last with him in the backfield? Let us know in the comments. Thank you to BetUS for sponsoring this video. Once again, if you'd like to sign up for BetUS, use the promo code YouTube150.